comparison video here. This is for you, Wood Butcher. You're going to make the headlines on July the 4th, 2022. Somebody says they cannot dig much trash with a Deus 1, or it's as good as a Deus 2. Okay, I got this block of wood here. I'm going to be roughly sweeping a coal about 8 inches over that tab right there. See that square tab? I just turned the Deus 2 on, went to the fast program and noise canceled, okay? And I'm at 93 sensitivity, reactivity 2. I'm gonna let you see that ID. 64. You see that in that camera there, right? 64. There goes the block of wood. Okay. Now, let's see what we get now. $62 to $68 on that tab there, okay? You see that? I'll do it again. 65, 61, 63, okay? So that's telling me that's sort of in the nickel range, you know, that target there. Now, for all practical purposes, I have the ground removed here, which means most detectors would get worse when you start adding dirt, okay, and mineralization. So we're going to turn this one off. The Deus 1 was not running when this test was done. Now, this is a low-frequency call. Before anybody gets excited here, says, oh, they don't make these anymore, and this is an 11-inch call, just like that one on that Deus 2. They do make the X35 call. I have not seen any reports, and I used one of those calls for a short period. I did not see any reports telling me that X35 call actually IDs any deeper than a low frequency call. Okay, we're in the GM Power program, and I'm going to run the sensitivity on this one up. I'll just run it up to 94. Reactivity's at 2. Jack the audio response up. Okay, ID normalization on this machine is, because we're going to change some frequencies here. ID normalization is off. I'm going to turn it on. All right. You see that ID on that tab there? 65. Swept from a couple inches above it. Let's see what happens when I come about 8 inches above it on this machine. I ain't even got no ID. Look at there, no ID at all. Okay, that's 17.7 kilohertz. We'll let the frequency down on it. Now we're at 11.7 kilohertz. $85 in the window. 85. Briefly. 86. There it is again. So you'd think that would be a high conductive coin, you know. Looking at the meter on this baby. We're going to go on down to 87.7 kilohertz. No ID. 4 kilohertz. Now, this machine, unlike the X35 coil, I believe you can run the TX power down to 2, where this one here is locked at 3. So it don't like that tab much at 4 kilohertz, okay, which is understandable. We'll go back up here to 17.7 kilohertz. 78. And I just seen that a little bit. Now I'm going to run the reactivity down on this machine. See if I can force it. This is going to be reactivity 1. 78. Okay. 74. I'm gonna lift this block of wood up. 65. So I'm reading 10 points high when I can force it to give an ID. There's 79, okay? Now remember, when I'm running this reactivity slower on this machine, I'm taking away part of its unmasking capabilities, okay? We'll go in here, we'll just let her on down to 0 and see what happens. Okay, so when I get to 0, I get more reliable. It's 70, it's coming 73, 63. But you can't hunt with this machine around my place at 0. You won't get any depth on this machine at 0 reactivity, okay? Back to reactivity 2. $83. Look at that. $83. $80. Now, how would you know that's a tab down there looking at that meter? Let's let her time out. Even knowing where that thing is, they're wiggling that call. I can't even get it to give ID in reactivity 2. All right. I'm going to leave this camera running. We're going to turn this JS2 back on. That tab is still down there now, and I'm about 8 inches above it, sweeping this call. Maybe a tad less than that if I get real close to that wood. Okay, fast program. Reactivity 2.5. Sensitivity is at 93. Look at that ID on that machine. 64. Let me turn this iron volume off this machine. All right. 58. 72. 64. Ever pass the call. You see that what I get in the meter? Now if I sit here and hover over it, look at that. So it's telling me it's not a high conductor down there, okay? It's more in the nickel range. Reactivity 3. Let's just see what it does on reactivity 3. 65. 58, 62, 70. Okay, so it's not no high conductive action going on there, okay? I've never digged that based on this meter reading from about 8 inches above sweeping it. That JS2 over there, I don't know what I got on there, okay? We can run the reactivity on this one to 1. Let's just see what it does. Oh, Lord, that's 65, 68, 65, 65, 63, 65. Ever sweep of the call, you get a good ID on this baby. Compared to that over there. Now, that X35 call will do some things that call won't do because of the frequency that it offers. But as far as ID at depth, I don't believe there's any advantage with an X35 call over that call there running equivalent frequency, okay? I hope you enjoyed the video.